Welcome to Impact Television. I think this is like our 22nd episode. So awesome. I'm sitting here with Tarek El Moussa of the hit show Flip or Flop, HETV. Beyond that, he's an awesome guy. I actually met him first a few years back. We were going to Park City, Utah. He was on the same plane. Super nice. Sometimes these celebrities are like, yeah, I'm too cool for you. But he was actually not too cool for me. We actually hit it off, and here we are today. Such an honor to have you, and really stoked to talk about a few topics with you. Our audience comprises of investors and business people and technologists across the nation, some around the world. Can you give a little bit about your background, Tarek, for the one or two people that may not know your story?
Okay, sure. Okay. Today I'm 39 years old. I've been in the real estate business since I was 20 years old. And I actually got into the real estate business right out of high school. I started getting my license when I was 20. You know, the JCPenney pants, the white socks. You know, I was a kid. I was like a really young kid.
Right.
And my first 6 months in the business, I was young, I was hungry, I was motivated. I worked so hard. I made $0.
Right.
Okay, I made nothing.
Okay.
And I remember being so sad and so depressed. I said, I'm 20 years old, I'm finally an adult, I'm trying to be a professional, and I'm failing. Right? And that was like my moment. I said, well, maybe I need to go back to school.
Right.
And I didn't want to go back to school. So at that time, I think it was a few days later after I came to this realization that I had made no money, I found out something called real estate coaching.
Okay.
At 20 years old, I didn't even know that you can get a real estate coach. I had a baseball coach, a football coach, a hockey coach.
Okay.
So I went and I got a coach. I went to a free seminar, signed up for coaching, $1,000 a month. I couldn't afford it.
Right.
At the time, I was living at my mom's house in the garage because my parents got divorced. She rented out my bedroom for $400 a month, and I didn't have it.
And she put you in the
She
garage?
put me in the garage. At least I had somewhere to go.
My gosh.
Better than the backyard.
Come on, Mom.
And it wasn't even a converted garage.
Right.
It was like I'd come home from work, I'd push the button, the garage door would open, and I had a cot in the middle of this garage. So I was motivated.
At least you could sneak out of the house without anyone knowing. Okay. So you're in the garage.
I'm in this garage. I'm super broke. I'm desperate. I'm thinking about quitting real estate. I go to this event. I sign up for coaching, $1,000 a month, and I'm like, how am I going to pay this? But this coach convinced me I was the smartest guy in the world. He convinced me I can do anything. He convinced me I was going to be a rock star agent. So this coach sold me, and I'm so glad he sold me, by the way.
Right.
So I signed up for the coaching. I did exactly what my coach said, plus 10. I worked harder than anyone's ever worked.
Right.
And I ended up making $120,000 in 90 days.
Wow. And so where were you doing the real estate back then? Was it primarily in Orange County? Or
it was Southern California.
Southern California.
So you got to imagine my life. I'm 20 years old. I'm poor. I can't put gas in my car.
Right.
90 days later, I made $120,000.
Right.
And I actually bought $1 million house.
That's amazing.
So I went from living in this garage to buying $1 million house.
Right.
And you know my business partner, Pete DeBest. I remember at the time, I go to Pete. I said, hey, Pete. And I was a young kid. Pete was a little bit older, successful already. He was a mentor to me.
Right.
And I go, Pete, there's this house I want to buy. He's like, you can't buy this house. You're crazy. I'm like, yeah, I could buy it. I said, give me a loan. He goes, I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
So he got me a loan for the house. And that was the beginning of my real estate career.
Tell me about that spark that led you to real estate. What was the seed on that? Why did you go in that direction when you were 20 years old? And no disrespect, but JCPenney jeans, dude, come on. I mean, those guys are like teetering on bankruptcy. They keep going in and out, in and out.
This was a long time ago.
We'll put JCPenney to the side right now, but let's go back to that seed. What was the fire that got you into real estate?
Okay. So I was a teenager, or just turning 20 years old, and I was dating a girl at the time, and their family was in real estate. The mom had sold real estate, had invested in real estate, and the dad, like me and him were like super close friends. We hung out all the time.
Right.
And he used to be a real estate investor, but apparently he gambled all his houses away.
Okay.
So that's when I saw the life they were living and the money they had, and I was like, so real estate. And I didn't really think much about it, because I didn't want to go sell real estate. And at the time, I was selling kitchen knives for Cutco. Have you heard of those?
Kitchen knives?
I come to your house, I'll cut the penny, I'll cut the rope, whatever you need.
Really? Yeah. So like you just go to someone's house and you're selling them knives?
Yeah, I was a knife salesman.
Nice.
And I was doing pretty good.
Okay. Right.
I was doing pretty good. I was actually one of the top salespeople in the country. Wow. Believe it or not,
that's
selling
fantastic.
knives.
Well, hey, that's a good, I mean, that's better than ice cubes to Eskimos. I mean, knives, I like that. Okay, that's cool.
So it was back in 2000, this was 2002, I think.
Right.
So I had all my leads in a sales book, and I was a young, unorganized kid.
Right.
I lost my sales book.
Oh.
So I put myself out of business overnight. I didn't database. I didn't have a second book. That was the book.
Right.
So I'm standing at this Washington Mutual in Cerritos, California.
Okay.
I'm staring at the ATM, and I'm like looking at my account balance, just thinking like, what are you gonna do? Like you are in so much trouble. And I had a moment. I looked up to the right, and there was a crooked sign.
Okay.
It says "Wise Old Owl."
Okay.
Real estate school.
Right.
And I had a moment.
So it was a sign. It was a sign.
A literal sign.
And you invested into that sign.
I invested into that sign.
Look for that crooked sign in your life, okay?
Never pass up an opportunity. So
Right.
I look at the sign and it hit me. I was like, if I could sell these knives, I could sell those houses.
Right.
So I took the money out of my account. I walked over. I signed up for my real estate classes, and I got licensed.
Oh, fantastic. So that journey started when you were 20 years old. So what has happened over the past 2 decades? I mean, you've rise to this incredible fame and success with this show, your business acumen, just knowing about real estate, the right time to go in, how to update a home and then turn it around. Can you talk a little bit about that journey?
Sure. So, after the market crash, 2007 and 8, I was broke again, sold my house, sold my cars. I was back to an apartment. I was crying in the bedroom. I was starting over.
Okay.
Felt like I was 20 years old again. And I was doing a short sale. I think it was mid to late 2009. And I worked so hard on this deal. I mean, I think I spent 13 months on this deal. First lien, second lien, HOA lien, IRS lien.
Right.
And I just worked so hard. And I remember at the end, I got this commission check. It was like $7,000.
Right.
Okay, $7,000.
$7,000.
And then I remember the buyer, my investor, painting the house, putting in carpet, and selling it. But he made $127,000. So that was the moment.
That's when you...
That was the exact moment when I said, wait a minute.
Right.
I'm on the wrong side of the equation.
Exactly.
I knew if I wanted to be successful, make real money, I had to become an investor.
Right.
So then, of course, I pitched everybody, asked everybody for money, and they all said yes. That's a joke.
Oh, I'm like, wow. You're just turn anything into gold.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Everybody, I was driving through the Taco Bell drive-thru. I'm like, hey, do you want to invest in real estate? Everybody said no. So I found someone dumb enough. His name was Pete.
Okay.
The best.
Pete the best, your partner. Okay, got it. Okay.
So I go to Pete. I'm like, listen, man. And I didn't just come to Pete. Like, Pete knew me. I was young. I was successful. At the time, I was broke. But he had seen what I did in the past.
Right.
And he said yes, and I was shocked. I was like, there's no way. So we decided we're going to flip houses. 4 days later, we go to the auction in Santa Ana, California. We buy this place for $115,000. We put, I think it was $17,000 into it.
Right.
And we ended up making a net profit of $34,000 in 60 days.
That is awesome.
That was the moment. I'm like, I am never going to sell a house again. If I could do this once, I could do it twice. If I could do it twice, I could do it 20,000 times. So that's where I became obsessed with real estate, okay? But here's the funny thing about that first flip. That same week that we bought the flip before we started the work, I was at a real estate convention in Las Vegas, California. And I was
Las Vegas, California?
Las Vegas, no, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Dude, I was going to say.
Las Vegas, Nevada.
I know this has been a pretty crazy year.
Well, I was in Las
but
Vegas.
I wouldn't be surprised if Las Vegas is now in California.
There is a chance based on what's happening.
There used to be a nightclub called Las Vegas in Orange County. But that didn't last long. But back to your story.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Okay, probably. Because it was in California. It didn't work.
California.
Las Vegas should only be in Nevada.
Yeah, it should only be in Nevada.
Exactly.
Okay, where was I in my story?
Okay, you're going through the journey.
California.
You bought that house, and you were like teetering on.
There it is. Okay, so I'm at this real estate seminar, and I always sat, there's 5,000 people in this room, and I always sit in the very back, because I don't want to talk to people. It's Vegas. I got no sleep. I'm always, I went out the night before.
Okay.
So I get invited to the front row. And this guy runs across stage because he noticed I wasn't feeling well. I was actually feeling a little bit sick.
Oh, because you were probably out the night before.
Absolutely.
Did you even go to bed, or did you just go straight through?
I'm pretty sure I went straight through. Maybe I got an hour of sleep. So
we've done that a few times over here too.
Yeah,
so,
we've all done it. You too.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm in the front. This guy comes up. He's a real estate agent out of Palm Springs. He goes, here's some Advil water. You look like you need it. In front of like everybody. And I'm like so embarrassed.
Okay.
But I was sitting in the front row. And the reason I was in the front row is because I was friends with the vice president of the real estate company I worked for.
Sure.
And their managers, one of the manager and the wife left. So 2 spots open.
Right.
So at the break, all these big hitters, these like rich people, all these 7-figure earners come up to me and my ex-wife. They're like, who are you guys? What do you do? And I'm like, well, what am I going to say? We're nobodies? Like, what do I say? So, we talked to them, and then I started asking them questions. And normally, like, I'd go talk to successful people, and they would just ignore me.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Like, why don't you talk to you?
Of course,
but this time, they were talking to me, so I'm like, this is my shot.
This is your shot.
So I was like, what do you do to make money? And then he starts telling me about his local TV show in Palm Springs, California, and how he gets recognized at the grocery store.
Right.
I'm like, well, it's cool to be famous and all, but do you make money?
Right.
And his answer was yes. He said, people see me on TV, they see me in town, and they do business with me.
Right.
So then I go home, and I'm like banging my head against the wall. I'm like, I need to get on TV. Like, I need a TV
and since
show.
you had those Advils, you could just bang your
I
head
could keep
multiple
banging my
times,
head.
and you're totally fine.
So I didn't know what to do. And I was like, it was literally
Right.
sitting on my couch in San Clemente, and I was like, I need to get a TV show.
Right.
And then it hit me. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I just bought my first flip.
That's right.
I'm like, why don't we flip houses on TV?
There you go.
So then I pitched Flip or Flop. So that night I came up with the idea.
Right.
I started Googling production companies and just started emailing. You want to do a house flipping show? You want to do a house flipping show?
Just like that.
Just like that.
And then you hit HGTV as one of the
No,
outlets you pitched?
no, not at all. Not at the
Okay.
beginning. So first you start with the production company,
Got
and then
it.
they sell it to the network.
Got it. Okay.
So I sent pictures and a bio,
Sure.
and we were young, decent looking.
Right,
so
right. Okay.
They're a
Right,
company called
right.
Pytown Productions out of Hollywood. They responded,
Okay.
and we did the sizzle video. It was a 2-day shoot, and we pitched it to all the networks,
Right.
and it went. We didn't hear anything.
Right.
So we gave up on the idea. It was like 10 months later, we randomly get a phone call out of the blue.
Right.
And it was the production governor. They said, "You're not going to believe this,
Right.
but HGTV wants to do a pilot."
Got it.
So we're like, awesome.
Okay.
So then we're like, let's shoot a pilot.
Right.
And we shot the pilot, and then they're like, well, the odds of getting picked up for a show are pretty slim. It's going
Right.
to take a real long time,
Sure.
and this and that.
Right.
We shoot the pilot.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, we get a call from the network, and they want to go to series.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So I was so excited,
Right.
and then we get the contract.
Right.
And the contract, I'm reading the contract, and it says you have to do 13 episodes in 10 months.
Okay.
Okay, well, there's a lot of problems. One, I've never been on TV.
Right.
2, I don't know how to flip houses.
Okay. Well, you
3,
flipped one.
I flipped one.
Okay, right.
3, I don't have any money.
Okay.
So, of course, I signed it.
Sure.
Because
Right.
I have nothing to lose. What are
You
they
have
gonna-
nothing to
You can't
lose.
sue me for credit
Right.
card debt.
Okay,
Like, what are
let's
you going
go.
to take?
Right, okay.
You can have the credit cards
Sure.
and the upside down cars, no problem. So I signed the contract, and I went all in. And
Right.
and I talked to Pete, and I was like, listen, man, we're gonna do this.
Right.
And I said, I'll bring the deals. You back me. Let's partner. Let's make this happen.
Right.
And the reason we found success so fast is because of the amount of work I put
Right,
in.
right.
So I had to figure out how to flip houses
Sure.
after signing a contract
Right.
to do it on TV.
Right.
So I would work all day. I would
Right.
work all day from like the morning time
Sure.
till nighttime.
Exactly.
And I'd get home from the office around 8 o'clock at
Right,
night. And then
right.
every night I would leave my house from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Right.
And I would leave my house because I was driving by all the properties that were going to the auction
Sure,
the next
sure,
day.
sure.
Because we couldn't bid on houses that were occupied because
Right.
of the show. We didn't have enough time.
Right.
And I just put in so much work that I think the first year we did 3 houses, then it jumped to 18, then 46, then 88. So we just
Fantastic.
exponentially
Right,
grew. And at the
right.
same time, my TV show, they almost canceled Flip or Flop before it ever aired. So
Right.
someone at the network thought it was too risque for the network.
Right.
They aired us on a Thursday night.
Sure.
And it was from 11 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Right,
They were
right,
trying to
right.
burn us off
Sure,
the air.
yeah.
Okay, it's like no marketing. The very first night we premiered, from the beginning of the hour to the end of the hour, the viewership on their channel rose record-breaking amount.
Amazing. And what do you think was that precipice that created that growth?
I think people liked us.
It was
they
it.
liked the, they
Right.
liked the personality.
Right.
They liked that we were young. We had no idea what we were doing.
Right.
We had good banter.
Right. And take me back to that relationship, that friendship with Pete, because we have thousands of entrepreneurs that are watching this right now, and a lot of times they're going into investments, they're going into building their business on their own. They're over a cliff, but you went in conjunction with Pete. Tell me the perspective of having a partner like that going into a business versus just doing it on your own, and what the benefits are in your opinion.
Oh, I mean, there are so many benefits.
Right.
You know, as one guy, I can only do so much on my own, and
Right.
and without Pete, you know, like where am I going to come up with the money?
Right,
Who's going to
right.
do the accounting? Who's
Sure.
going to take care of the books? Like,
Right.
you know, all that real the smart people stuff,
Sure,
I call
sure.
it. You know,
Right.
Pete's
It's probably why
fantastic at
airplanes
that.
have 2 pilots.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You know?
Airplanes have
Okay.
2 pilots. So it's important to have business partners.
Right.
And he's been a great business partner. We've been business partners for a long time. But something really special happened with all this, right?
Right.
Through us flipping houses and
Right.
getting this little unknown TV show, it just
Sure.
grew and grew and
Right,
grew.
right.
And today, like, we've built this real estate brand that's
Right.
known around the world, you know, and I'm
Absolutely.
proud to say my
Right.
name, Tarek El Moussa,
Right.
is known around the world because of
Sure.
the work I've put in the
Oh,
real estate
absolutely.
industry.
Absolutely. My wife and I, we actually build homes on the side, and you've inspired so many of our projects, and it's the lives that you touch inside the homes across America, around the world. Be really proud of what you're doing, and I feel like you're just at that turning point and where you're at. Now, through your journey, I know you've had a health scare, you've had challenges in work. One of the big things that we cover in Impact Television is the adversity, right? Because every day we have to deal with
Yeah.
serious like crap,
The
right?
life of an entrepreneur.
Right. When you get in your darkest moments, what is it that helps push you through to the next day?
Well, for me, I go back to my darker moments.
Okay.
You know,
Right. It helps to look back,
you
right?
know, I look back.
JCPenney
So,
jeans.
like, my
Okay.
life's been so rough. Like, when I'm having a bad day now,
Right.
I compare it to the bad days I used to have,
Right,
but it's
right,
not
right.
so bad
Not so
anymore.
bad. Right.
You know,
so
but-
look back in time. That's a really good thing, because sometimes when I've hit adversity, I just look back at pictures from when I was younger, and the adolescence and the challenges I was really going through then versus now, these are solvable problems, and now you have relationships and you have experience. That's a really good point. So look back anytime you're feeling that wall up against that goal, or everyone's pushing back and you feel like you're just going to get defeated and taken out. That's really good advice.
You got to just dig deep. It's like, you just have to reach really far within. Like in 2013, the show aired, season 1. We had just started season 2. And that's when I got the email from the network. There was a viewer, a registered nurse out of Texas, actually, that was watching the show, and she noticed a lump on my neck. Turns out I had full-blown stage 3 thyroid cancer. And then a few weeks later, through further testing, we found out I had testicular cancer. So 2013 was a very scary year, and I remember getting the call from the network, because I had contracts. They're like, we understand the show's over, no problem. And I was like, what show's over? Show's just getting started. So if you watch Flip or Flop, I filmed through thyroid cancer, I filmed through testicular cancer, I filmed through a horrific back injury, I filmed through back surgery, I filmed through a very public divorce. And I'm still kicking today. I'm still thriving, and that's the thing with life, shit happens. You just got to keep fighting. That's the thing. You just got to fight for yourself and your family.
That's incredible advice, Tarek, because a lot of people, they may not know that and realize those challenges that you've been through. And it really gives inspiration for our audience, because if you look at the blood artery of the economy here in the United States, there's over 30 million registered businesses. A lot of these are solopreneurs. They're entrepreneurs that face challenges every day. They feel defeated, but here's a living example of rising to such enormous success. And it's not just with the viewership and the TV show, but what you've been able to overcome and now share with a wider community.
I just want to say this, like all my success or everything I've done, in my mind, it's nothing. I'm just barely getting started. We're scratching the surface here.
Absolutely.
Like, I am so passionate about real estate and being an entrepreneur and just giving back to the world that I'm just on a mission to just, live this life the best way I can live it and just help as many people as I can.
And before we get into your new organization, TEM Capital, let's talk a little bit about finding that perfect fixer-upper to flip. Now, is there like a scientific formula you have, like your methodology is one of a kind, or do you use variables that are widely known in the market? Can you tell us a little bit about your magic?
Well, both, but there is one thing I have that other people don't have.
Okay.
It's the Tarek El Moussa name. Okay, I've built a brand.
Yes.
And that brand rewards us on a daily basis. And that's why there's such a great opportunity in real estate today, especially when working with me. We leverage the brand, and sellers want to work with us, and sellers call us.
Absolutely.
And it really helps. But outside of just utilizing the brand I've built over the last 10 years, we have outgoing marketing campaigns, we have outbound prospecting campaigns. So we are a full real estate company.
Right. And I think real estate's such a great asset to invest into, because you get to live in it, and you could, buy stock. I think stock and equities are good too, but a real estate is an emotional relationship you have with a physical structure, and there's so many components that go into a residential dwelling, and to be able to be part of that down to the studs, and then to see it all come together, it's an amazing experience. Tell us a little bit about everything that's happened this year. Now, this is like a flip or flop year, right? So I expected real estate to get sucker punched, yet what's happened is this enormous growth. And do you see it where just certain regions like Southern California or Florida or certain markets are doing extremely well? Or do you see this happening across the country?
It's kind of across the board right now, and that's due to inflation and super low interest rates and a lack of inventory.
Right.
So, a lot of interesting things have happened because of the pandemic. I did think we were going to see a big crash, and the opposite happened. The real estate market's on fire, buyers are buying, and the rates are low, and it's just going up.
Right. And do you see a lot of international investments coming in? I mean, it seems like the Asian markets, China, there's a lot of people that are buying up. We both live in Southern California. A lot of homes in my neighborhood are being bought by Chinese Americans or people from outside of the country. Any thoughts on that?
My thoughts are smart people are investing in real estate.
Right, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about TEM Capital as we wrap up this interview. I'm very intrigued with this new business and excited to share with our audience.
I am so excited to announce the launch of TEM Capital. Over the past 10 years, you watched me flip hundreds of houses in my hometown of Southern California. In addition to flipping hundreds of houses since 2010, I've been acquiring houses throughout the country, renovating them, then leasing them to families who need a home to rent. We currently manage hundreds of properties, and we're offering accredited investors the opportunity to invest with us. If you want the opportunity to flip homes and collect cash flow from rentals, but don't have the time or network to do it yourself, join us at TEM Capital. We're offering accredited investors the opportunity to invest in a fund that will acquire a national portfolio of single-family rentals. You see me do it on TV for years, and now it's time to do it with me.
The primary objective of TEM Capital is to generate excellent risk-adjusted returns for shareholders by leveraging Tarek El Moussa's brand and national relationships and TEM Capital's operational expertise and proven technology platform.
We have a niche for finding opportunities that other investors do not have access to. I've been Tarek's house flipping partner since he started. Tarek and I have grown our national portfolio of rental properties and are excited to finally open the opportunity to outside investors. Our competitive edge is we are able to find value and acquire properties at a significant discount.
People have been watching me on TV, and throughout the years, people come up to me all the time on the streets like, Tarek, we love your show. We want to invest with you. Sure. And I'm just thinking, oh, no, I'm sorry. Like, I don't, I didn't even know how to do that. Like, I don't need partners. I already have money. I have a business partner.
Sure.
And then as time went on, I realized that I can build this company and I can start partnering with people to flip houses with me or invest in real estate with me.
Right.
So now with TEM Capital, people don't only get to watch me do it anymore, they can actually do it with me.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. And so are you looking at making investments across the country or in submarkets? A little bit more on the fund. Any thoughts there?
Absolutely. We are going to be buying in the hottest markets across the country with the best rents, the best job growth, and the best future potential.
Right. So for our viewing audience, they're probably looking around their home just trying to figure out what are the areas within my own house that I can really invest in and grow value. Would you say start with your master bathroom or the kitchen? Are there specific areas if you can't do the whole house?
Yeah,
just curious.
It kind of depends on budget. If the budget's small, it is amazing what a good paint job will do.
Right.
It's amazing what new flooring will do. So like in bathrooms, for example, to redo a shower wall, it gets very expensive, right? But to redo a bathroom floor, it's not that expensive. So on a house that has like a white tile shower wall, do a nice pattern tile on the floor. And the best part is, it's really easy to do.
Sure, absolutely.
So like landscaping, cleaning up landscaping makes a big difference. Watering your lawn makes a big difference. It's little things.
Awesome. So if you're interested in following up with Tarek on his new investment, TEM Capital, you have the information right down below. If you love our content, share with your friends, subscribe on our channel, hit the little bell so you can get more of our episodes sent to you. And Tarek, one of my favorite things to do at the very end of an interview is to do one word. So one word comes out of my mouth, and the first thought in your head, you got to shoot back. And I learned this from my friend Ann Lunis, who's the Chief Marketing Officer of Adobe. And she's done this to Ryan Gosling, to George Clooney. And it's funny what happens on stage, okay?
All right.
And I'm not prepared with these, so I'm going to just throw a couple words out, and let's just see what happens. House.
Home.
Orange County.
Home.
Real estate.
My life.
Las Vegas.
Last weekend.
Tomorrow.
Excited.
With that, we wrap up our interview with Tarek El Moussa, and I appreciate you for tuning in tonight, and I'll talk to you soon, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. We're done.